Tonight, future journalists visit Troy's campus.
Plus, Midnight Madness in Sartain Hall. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the High Definition Digital Production Center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for September 27, 2012. I'm Courtney Addison.
And I'm Judson Garner. Thanks for joining us this evening. Troy University's campus was filled with hundreds of high school students today, all wanting to learn more about becoming a journalist. Justin McNally gives us the story of this year's J-Day.
Aspiring journalists were able to dwell a little deeper into their field today. Over 400 high school students participated in Troy University's annual J-Day hosted by the Hall School of Journalism on Thursday. J-Day gives the students the opportunity to try out different aspects of the journalism world and learn from people already in the field.
Honestly, I just want to network because Troy is actually number 3 on my list for colleges right now. So I'm trying to network, get to know more about the program that you all have here so I can better myself in understanding what school I need to go to for my future.
Students from the Wiregrass area got the opportunity to learn what it was like to be on the news desk, give the weather report, and even deliver a play-by-play broadcast of the Trojans football games. However, one teacher was just as thrilled to participate as the students.
What I always like is the opportunity to interact with high school students from around the state, some of whom have radio or TV facilities or a newspaper at their school.
While sitting at the desk and delivering the news is fun, there's more to J-Day than just that. And some of these students summed it up with just one word.
It helps to have that on-hand task, like, experience.
I really just want more experience.
It's a really great experience.
With a day filled with learning new things and discovering more about this wonderful field, one student still offered some of her personal advice.
Just understanding how, you can't just read everything, but you have to look at the camera and know your stuff and not basically memorize it, but, you had to know it, have it, knowledge and packed down.
Justin McNally, Troy TrojanVision News.
Around 400 students took part in this year's J-Day.
On Wednesday afternoon, music students had a guest come to critique their playing. Rachel Scarborough shows us how some students are tickling the ivories.
Some might say life is like a piano. What you get out of it depends on how you play it, and some Troy University students had the chance to do so.
Master class to our piano students, so our students can benefit not only from the piano faculty here, also they can learn lots of stuff from the guest pianist outside of Troy.
The guest pianist says that giving master classes is nothing new to music majors.
It's a normal thing that musicians do, where we invite guest artists, and in that case, the thoughts that the teacher have for the students reinforced, but in a different way, coming from a different person. Always probably new ideas for the students, but it's always a normal thing for musicians to do.
Professor Saban gave a recital Tuesday night, which encouraged more students to come to the master class.
She gave a wonderful recital. Yeah, so basically, and then all of the piano students, they were there. So actually, we were really excited. They were excited for the master class.
She hopes all the students learn something that they can use once they graduate college.
They're going to be music teachers, and for them to be able to perform also, it's quite difficult.
Rachel Scarborough, Troy TrojanVision News.
The next event for the piano students will be a recital in November. Well, Judson, after classes are over, some students still stick around campus to try to find something fun to do.
That's right, Courtney. And the UAC kept students up late last night for a basketball tournament. Caitlin Crow has the story.
Midnight Madness is a familiar term here around Troy's campus, as it has been used several times in the past few years. But why did UAC decide to use it again?
Midnight Madness has been one of our most popular events throughout a few years, so we try to bring back the ones that the students are very interested in, where we have a large crowd. Midnight Madness, dodgeball, laser tag, those are typically like our big events, so we generally try to bring them back either in the fall or in the spring, but just to make it reoccurring so everyone is able to participate.
But what exactly is Midnight Madness, and what are its benefits?
Typically, it's supposed to last until midnight, but it's basically a basketball tournament with just regular students, and they just play basketball, and the winner of the tournament gets t-shirts.
You may be wondering how you can get involved.
All the events are free to students, and you just come out and have a good time. If it's an event like this where we have to have team stuff, we'll always be in TC ahead of time. And if it's not an event like that, I know like towards the end of October we'll have a haunted house and Oktoberfest, and that's just going to be, you just come out and have a good time.
To get more information about upcoming events held by the UAC, you can check their Facebook page, Twitter handle, and look for posters around campus. Caitlin Crow, Troy TrojanVision News.
UAC's next event will be Dollar Movie Night next Wednesday. However, the UAC is planning a bus trip to the South Alabama game this weekend. As of around 4:30, there were still 5 seats available. If you are interested in going, you can stop by the UAC office in Trojan Center Room 228.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Birmingham, a federal grand jury has indicted a man on the charges that he threatened the life of President Obama on the social network site Twitter. The federal grand jury indicted 25-year-old Jarvis Britton in a 1-count indictment that charged him with knowingly threatening the life of the president.
In Montgomery, a casino lobbyist who admitted offering bribes to legislators has received probation. U.S. District Judge Keith Watkins gave Jennifer Pouncey 3 years on probation, 100 hours of community service, and $4,100 in fines and fees at a sentencing hearing Wednesday.
In Mobile, police are discounting claims that a bullet caused a window to shatter at the Democratic Party headquarters. A department spokesperson tells the Press Register the window appears to have been damaged previously and may have shattered on its own. Police are continuing to investigate.
And still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, an old sports rivalry is taking on a new form. Justin McNelly will be in to give us a preview of the football game coming up this weekend.
But first, conflicting views at the United Nations about the affairs overseas. We'll have that story and more after the break.
Israel's prime minister demands a red line over Iran's nuclear development. I'm Vanita Nair at the United Nations with that story.
In 1887, it was written that we want to educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, the body to act. And it's no different today than it was 125 years ago. Some things never change. The mission of this university is to prepare leaders who are going to go into the communities and make a difference. And I think it's within that culture of caring that excellence is found.
Troy University, in class, online, within reach. Troy.edu.
Want to save money on gas and help the environment? The EPA's smart driving tips could give you more miles per gallon and reduce air pollution. Make sure your tires are properly inflated. Accelerate and brake slowly. Be aware of your speed. And when buying a new car, look for the SmartWay certification mark to help you choose the most efficient vehicle that meets your needs. If we each adopt just one of these tips, we'd get more miles for our money, and it would be a little easier to smell the flowers. For more info, visit epa.gov/smartway.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now for a look at what's happening across the nation and around the world, we'll go to Courtney Addison at the Global News Desk. Courtney.
Thanks, Judson. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressed the United Nations General Assembly, praising for what Israel calls a clear red lead on Iran and its nuclear program. Vinda Nar has the latest details coming from New York.
Israel's prime minister used his address to the UN General Assembly to push for tougher sanctions against Iran over its nuclear program.
To understand what the world would be like with a nuclear-armed Iran, just imagine the world with a nuclear-armed Al-Qaeda.
Netanyahu drew a red line on a picture of a bomb representing Iran's nuclear progress. He said if Iran crosses that line, it should face military intervention.
I believe that faced with a clear red line, Iran will back down.
Former Israeli ambassador to the UN, Dan Gillerman, called Netanyahu's speech Israel's, quote, wake-up call to the world, saying time is running out to contain Iran's nuclear ambitions.
We see it as a very imminent, immediate danger. The U.S. thinks there's still time.
Prime Minister Netanyahu said he is confident that Israel and the U.S. can, quote, chart a path forward over Iran. He and President Obama are expected to talk by phone on Friday. The president of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, also addressed the General Assembly, accusing Israel of ethnic cleansing for building settlements in East Jerusalem. Netanyahu called Abbas's speech libelous.
The Israeli government rejects the two-state solution.
Abbas also pushed for an upgrade in Palestinian UN status from observer to non-member state. Vanita Nair for CBS News, the United Nations.
President Obama won Virginia 4 years ago, and recent polls show him with a slight edge there now. Republican challenger Mitt Romney would like to see the battleground state go his way. Both candidates are there today fighting for votes. Danielle Nottingham reports from the White House.
The presidential campaign rolled into Virginia today, where both candidates are making their pitch to voters in the battleground state. It's the third straight day President Obama and Mitt Romney have stumped in the same state. On Wednesday, they were in Ohio.
And the path I represent is one which will add 12 million new jobs. That'll get rising take-home pay again.
We don't believe government should help people who aren't trying to help themselves. That's not the American way. But we do believe in something called opportunity.
The Obama campaign is out with a new TV ad today, airing in Ohio, Virginia, and other key battleground states. In the 2-minute spot, the president directly addresses the camera, much like Mitt Romney did in an ad released Wednesday.
Read my plan, compare it to Governor Romney's, and decide for yourself.
Recent polls have the GOP White House hopeful trailing in several key battleground states, prompting calls from some Republicans for Romney to be more aggressive. He says he's sticking to his game plan, the economy and jobs.
The American people are interested in who's going to make their life better, who can help people get better jobs and better incomes. And I can. He's proven that he does not have the capability to do that.
There are 6 more days of campaigning before the first of 3 presidential debates. Danielle Nottingham, CBS News, the White House.
There has been only one Mona Lisa for centuries, but a group of art experts claim they have found a second painting. Monica Villamizar reports from London.
Researchers in Switzerland unlocked a secret vault to reveal what they say is an earlier painting of a younger Mona Lisa.
The great artist Leonardo da Vinci did, in fact, paint 2 versions of the Mona Lisa portrait.
The Mona Lisa Foundation was set up to prove it.
The vertical distances.
Experts spent 3 decades doing X-rays and detailed examinations to back up their claim.
We have discovered that it is, in fact, the same woman in both paintings. It is Lisa Gherardini del Giocondo.
The foundation says the painting hung unnoticed for a century at a home in England before it was finally discovered. A collector bought the painting and brought it here to his studio in the London suburb of Isleworth. That's where the Mona Lisa of Isleworth gets its name. Art historians say it was kept here until the First World War, when it was sent to the United States to keep it safe.
Identical.
Some art experts are skeptical Mona Lisa has a twin. They argue it's more likely an anonymous painter was trying to copy Da Vinci.
I've seen the infrareds and I've seen the X-rays. They are not characteristic of what Leonardo does underneath paintings.
About 6 million people visit the Louvre in Paris each year to see the Mona Lisa. Museum officials would not comment on claims of a second portrait. The debate will likely linger. The Swiss Foundation says it will not sell the painting or reveal who currently owns it. Monica Villamizar, CBS News, London.
And that wraps things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune in to Troy Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now, back to you, Judson.
Thanks, Courtney. And now Justin McNally joins us for a look at sports. So, Justin, I understand that Troy University athletics have competed against South Alabama in many different sports, but this upcoming weekend is the first time we're going to be playing them in football.
That's right. The Trojans and the Jaguars have squared off in various other sports, but this will be the first time that they're under the lights on a Saturday night at Ladd-Peebles Stadium. But I'll get to that and more here in sports. So far this year, the Trojan football team has already taken care of one of its biggest rivals by downing UAB 39-29. And in the last game of the season, the Trojans will battle for the Palladium against Middle Tennessee State, in which they had defeated the Blue Raiders 6 straight years. However, this coming weekend, the Trojans will do battle with another in-conference foe in which they already have some history with. While the Trojans and the Jaguars of South Alabama have never met on the gridiron before, In major men's college athletics, however, baseball and basketball that is, the Trojans and the Jaguars are tied at 20 wins each since the 2004 season. This rivalry has been brewing for a while, but will finally take place under the bright lights on Saturday night. And players know this one is going to be special.
It'll be a very big rival, such as UAB. You know, we're just expanding the college football play in the state of Alabama. And I just feel like South Alabama, they're going to come out there and they're going to bring a crowd. I mean, everybody knows that, so I believe it'll be a big rival game.
The Trojans and the Jaguars are set to do battle at Ladd-Peebles Stadium this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. And the Trojans soccer team is trying to get back on the right track after losing 4 straight contests. In those 4 losses, the Trojans have not managed to score more than 1 goal. In their last win against Elon, the Trojans won 2-1. Maybe the key is being able to get back on the scoreboard, but they'll have another tough competition this weekend facing North Texas.
We're just taking the lessons that we learned. This last game was a loss. We're not even looking further back than that. You know, North Texas is another strong conference favorite. They arguably could win it this year too. Going to them, traveling for a 1-game series, so we'll see how it goes.
The Trojans and the Mean Green will meet on the pitch at 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon. And the volleyball team is hoping to have better luck than the soccer team did against the Florida teams of the Sun Belt. Troy will play host to Florida International tomorrow night at Sartain Hall. The Trojans are 1-1 in conference play after a successful weekend, including a sweep of Middle Tennessee in the Trojans' first ever win over the Blue Raiders in conference play. After a tough weekend against quality opponents, Coach Sonny Kirkpatrick says his team has to take it 1 game at a time.
So know that we're only as good as our next match. So we're only as good as our FIU match tomorrow night. And if we don't play well there, really last weekend's results have gone for nothing. And our focus has been to continue to get better, to continue to push and get better in the areas that we really need to and our weaknesses. And I think we've had a really good week of practice. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
The Trojans and the Golden Panthers meet tomorrow night at 7 in Sartain Hall. Last year, the Trojans were swept by the Golden Panthers and lost in straight sets at home to finish out the season. So as you can see, Judson and Courtney, some big games coming up this weekend for Trojan volleyball and Trojan soccer. First time Troy will ever play South Alabama in football, so that's going to be a big game on hand. But if you want full previews of those games, you can tune in to Trojan Sports Now tonight at 7 and 11, and Danielle Percival and Jonathan Sellers will give you those full previews.
Yeah, Trojan Sports Now is always good for a more in-depth look. And just to remind the folks at home, the UAC has seats like we mentioned earlier, so make sure to make sure if you want to go, those are still available.
Yes, they are.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Coming up on Troy TrojanVision Nightly News, in Trojan Talk, we'll meet the new women's head basketball coach.
But first, not a lot of complaints have been coming from students about the weather lately, but these pleasant conditions will not last forever. Should we be expecting any changes soon, Bree?
After almost a week of picture-perfect weather, it doesn't look like these conditions will be here to stay. I'll have more coming up next.
We all share a common journey. We wanted to serve our country, stand for something bigger than ourselves, and protect the things we love. Although we were ready to face any mission, help those in need, and make a difference, for some of us, coming home was more of a challenge than we expected. In the service, we had each other's backs. But as veterans, it can sometimes feel like we're all alone, even when surrounded by our loved ones.
At the Veterans Crisis Line, we understand what you're going through, and we can help. It's your call.
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
And now Bree Sanders joins us for a look at weather.
So, Bree, we've had beautiful weather all week, sunny skies, gorgeous days outside. Can we be expecting that to go into our weekend?
Well, it looks like we have had those gorgeous conditions all week, but as we head into the weekend, we may have some rain coming to our area, but I'll get more into that in just a moment, though. First, let's take a look at our campus snapshot. Right now on campus, we see the sun setting right over Bibb Graves right now. So if you're headed to class or you're headed out to work, you can definitely enjoy your evening on the quad today. Current conditions right now, we have partly cloudy skies, temperatures at 85 degrees, dew points at 67 degrees, humidity is at 54%, barometers at 30.12 inches and steady. Winds are coming in from the northeast at about 5 miles per hour. Today's stats, we had a high today of 87 degrees, a low of 63 degrees. There was no rain today. The sun rises at 6:34 a.m. and it should set at 6:33 p.m. Looking at our temperatures around the state, overall the state is experiencing some mid to upper 80-degree temperatures. Mobile coming in with a high at 89, Huntsville at 85, Birmingham at 84, Montgomery at 88, Troy at 85, Phoenix City at 88, and Dothan at 87. Looking at our temperatures around the southeast in our area, we're experiencing some mid-80-degree temperatures, and as we move throughout the rest of the southeast there in the Carolinas, those temperatures remain constant throughout the southeast. For our temperatures around the United States, as we look in the California area, they have about a 30-degree difference here in the mid-90s as well as the mid-60s. A lot of scattered temperatures in their area. Current surface map, like I said earlier, their temperatures are very scattered, maybe because they do have a few heavy to moderate rain systems coming on through their area, as well as some high and low pressure systems, bringing in that mixture of temperatures for right now. But as we take a closer look into our area, nothing too much going on right now. We have a few light winds in our area, a few high pressure systems, maybe bringing in some rain as we head into our weekend. Precipitation forecast over the next 48 hours. For the next 2 days, we shouldn't be expecting any rain here in the southern part of our state, but as we look towards the northern part of our state in the Huntsville and Birmingham area, they will be experiencing about 1/4 of an inch of rain or so. So if you're traveling that way, you may want to keep that rain gear with you just in case. Departure from normal, we're about 5 degrees warmer than what we've been seeing lately. So as for those fall temperatures, maybe they're not here to stay just yet, but we'll stay on the lookout for that. As we move into tomorrow, still no rain in our area, but as we see to the north of us, Tennessee is covered as a whole in rain right now, and as we move into our weekend on Saturday, it seems as if our state as well as the rest of the southeast will be covered in rain, heavy rain, as we can see maybe even 2 inches on Saturday, about a 60% chance of rain or so. So if you're out and about, make sure you have that rain gear with you. As we close out our weekend on Sunday, that rain remains in our area. It tries to move out just a little bit, but nevertheless it will be rather heavy. And as we start our week next week on Monday, that rain's still in our area, still trying to push into the Atlantic Ocean, but not quite. For tonight's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, straight thunderstorms possible, about a 20% chance of rain, winds coming in from the east at about 3 miles per hour with a low of 65 degrees. So tonight will be much like last night. It won't be too cool, won't be too warm, a little bit windy outside. We may be expecting a few showers in our area, but nothing too much to worry about. For tomorrow's forecast, we have partly cloudy skies, sunshine and cloud mix. Winds coming in light and variable from the south at about 3 miles per hour with a high of 90 degrees. So tomorrow will be much like today. Picture perfect outside, very warm outside. Definitely go outside and enjoy your Friday. As we take a look at our 4-day forecast, like I said earlier, going into tomorrow, that high gets to about 90 degrees with a low of 66. On Saturday, that high gets to 87 with a low of 67. Saturday night, we do have about a 50% chance of rain in our area, as well as possible scattered thunderstorms. Be on the lookout for that, especially if you're traveling to go see Troy play South Alabama. As we end our weekend out on Sunday, we do have that high going up to about 74, about a 15-degree difference as to what we've been seeing lately. Also, we have a 60% chance of rain in our area as well as scattered thunderstorms, so be on the lookout for that. And even moving into Monday, those rain conditions still stay in our area, about a 40% chance of rain. That high gets right there to about 76. So, Courtney, yes, we've had these picture-perfect conditions all week, but it seems as if we move into our weekend, not only will we have rain, but those fall temperatures are coming into our area, about a 15-degree difference or so. So make sure you have that new clothing with you just in case it does decide to cool off.
That's right, and it's a good thing the football game isn't at home this weekend. Hopefully they'll have better weather in Mobile than we are going to have here.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
you. These perfect temperatures couldn't last forever, so looks like we may see some showers on Monday.
Sad to say, but yes.
Yeah, all right, thanks, Bree.
You're welcome.